All right, today we're going to improve the audio on this video by linking it to Adobe Audition and then using Adobe Audition's Apply Match Clip Loudness effect. So as you can see, I've got 3 audio tracks for the 3 speakers on the screen. And since we're recording at different locations, different microphones, the audio levels are going to be a bit different between each of us. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to then send this to Adobe Audition and do some audio editing there. Okay, so I'm on my project timeline and I'm simply going to go to Edit in Adobe Audition. I'm going to choose the entire sequence because I want to add everything that's there. I'm going to leave it all just at the defaults. I want to make sure entire sequence is selected, and I want to make sure send through dynamic link is selected, which are going to be your default settings. Hit OK. All right, now that we've got all those open, as you can see, I've got match loudness already. If you don't, or if you're not seeing it, just go to Windows, Match Loudness, and that'll add it for you. You take all your audio files, or however many you want to work with. So the reason why I've got more than 3 is because if we jump back to Premiere Pro, you can see I've already done a cut. So it's given me that is 3 separate ones, and that is 3 separate ones. And you can see it here as well. Once I've selected all the audio files, just drag and drop them into Match Loudness. It'll take a second to process them. You can also, if you're, you can select them this way as well, just doing a Control Select and drag and drop them. Once you've got them in there, you need to hit this little icon here, which computes the loudness. Once you select that, it'll process it. Mine already did because it was already selected. If yours is not, it'll look like this. So you see how when it's selected, it's blue. When it's not, it's not. And you also notice it was kind of running a little processing there when I dropped it in. All right, now when we want to match to, I'd say just honestly leave it at the default one, the loudness. You can play with the settings anyways. And based on my experience of playing around with this, the default is really all you need. So a couple things to look at here are your target loudness. So I would drop, you can go anywhere between -16 to 23. So -16 if you're doing a podcast is pretty standard. And 23 obviously is the default. So I'm going to change mine to -16, but feel free to leave it at 23 as well, since this is actually going to be a YouTube video. You want to leave your release time at around 200 as well. Leave your tolerance, pretty much everything else as it is. The only real thing I might change besides the target loudness and the max true peak level is going to be this -1 dBTP. So that's your minus decibels to true peak. So watch what happens here if I change this down to a very low number, so down to -12. And I'm going to hit run and watch what happens to my levels here. So see what it did is it mashed it all the way down, so it's going to go down to -12 dB, which is not going to sound all that great.
So I'll have to wait for the delivery. Yeah.
You got to prioritize. I mean, it doesn't sound too bad, but you're not going to get that natural volume of up and downs that people use when they speak. So I'm going to undo that. And with the dBTP, I generally will leave it anywhere between -1 to -3. So with this one, let's go -3. I'm going to run that again. There we go. So as you can see, what it did is it limited that max loudness decibel level to where it's only going to drop it down to -1 dP. So it's still limited. As you can see, there's a nice solid line there, but it still gives me a bit more variety and a bit more to work with. So that's the settings I use. Like I said, I never really play with the release time too much. All right, now I've done everything that I want to do. I need to send it back to Premiere Pro. Go to Multitrack, Export Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm going to change my sample rate from 3200 to 44.1 or 44100. I'm going to change my location. So that way I can put it in the same folder that it came from. And I'm going to export each and open Adobe. And there you go. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now this will pump it back into Premiere Pro. It'll take a minute. Okay, now that we're back in Premiere Pro, I do have some options. I can copy it to a new audio track, or I can set it to one of the ones already there. In this case, let's go to Audio 4, hit OK. You know, underground tube train with thousands of other people. And there it is. And you notice here, it is taking a second to kind of show those linkings popping up. And there we go. Now that once we've got it, you can actually see all the different level adjustments, and you can continue to play with it as you want. As always, hope you found that useful, and have a good day. Oh, and I guess, you know, be sure to like and share and